11 Curious Facts About the Philippines in 6 Minutes. 11. They have churches in shopping malls. Shopping malls aren't merely a place where you buy stuff for Filipinos. They are safe, air-conditioned community hubs with gyms, health clinics, concert halls, nightclubs, parks and even churches inside. So it's no surprise they are the favorite place to meet up with friends for so many locals. And 3 of the world's 10 largest shopping malls are located in the Philippines. They are Mega Fashion Hall of SM Mega Mall, SM City North EDSA and SM Mall of Asia. 10. Filipinos are the #1 texting nation in the world. You already know Filipinos love meeting up with friends at shopping malls, and when they can't see each other in person, they text. And when they do it, they rarely limit it to "Hey, how are you?" In fact, they send about 400 million texts a day, and that's around 142 billion texts a year. It's more than the US and Europe put together. Not exactly a little number for a country of 107 million people. 9. They have a unique form of transportation. If you visit Manila, you'll notice some interesting-looking vehicles called jeepneys. They are converted U.S. Army jeeps that stayed in the country after WW2. Filipinos adapted them to transport up to 18 passengers, who jump on the jeepney going in their direction and ring the bell for it to stop. There are about 50,000 jeepneys in Manila, and they all look different, with basketball stars, cartoon characters, inspirational quotes, neon lights and whatnot on them. There are 2 major problems with jeepneys: safety concerns and pollution. They produce huge amounts of black smoke. 8. One of the islands has more volcanoes than towns. The Philippines are, without a doubt, a super scenic location. Among all of the islands that are part of it, Camiguin sure stands out, with more volcanoes per square mile than any other island on the planet. The island is 14 miles long and 8.5 miles wide and has 7 volcanoes and 5 towns. And even though earthquakes and eruptions shaped it, volcanoes have been deep asleep since the 50s, so thousands of tourists can safely visit the island these days. 7. Their national flag has a secret meaning. The national flag of the Philippines has 2 bands of blue and scarlet, and a white triangle at the hoist with a yellow sun with 8 rays, each of them standing for one province of the country. The yellow stars stand for the 3 largest island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. What makes the flag really unique is that it can be reversed to declare a state of conflict. This happened during the Filipino Revolutionary War of 1898 to 1901 and during WW2 in 1941 to 1945. 6. A lot of Filipinos work abroad. It might be because of their flexible and reliable character, or the fact that they speak great English as a second language, but more than 11 million Filipinos work abroad. It's around 11% of the population. And a quarter of all overseas nurses in the world come from the Philippines. 5. Their rice terraces are the 8th wonder of the world. Bonaway rice terraces are the oldest in the world and were so smartly designed, they still bring a harvest of rice and vegetables, most of which get exported. And it is believed if all the terraces had been built end to end, they would stretch halfway around the world. Today, these places bring the country more money as a tourist destination than rice plantations, and thus they play an important role for the economy of the Philippines. 4. They produce a lot of coconuts. For years, the Philippines had been the #1 producer of coconuts in the world. And even though the leadership now belongs to Indonesia, 153,532,000 tons per year is still an impressive number, isn't it? These coconuts are used to make anything from clothing to beauty products. 3. The first European to visit the Philippines was Ferdinand Magellan. The legendary explorer made the first record of the archipelago among the Europeans in 1521. He founded the first settlement in Cebu and thus most of the area became a Spanish colony. This explains the fact that around 90% of the population are Christian, unlike most of the country's neighbors. In 1898, the Philippines went under US rule and later, in 1946, became an independent republic. 2. A Filipino made the first karaoke machine. If you love to sing along, you ought to thank Filipinos for your favorite pastime. The first karaoke machine in the world was created in 1975 by Roberto del Rosario. He patented it as the sing-along system, and even though there were some attempts to claim his creation, he still remains the only patent holder for the karaoke system. 1. The population is extremely good-looking. Along with their love for boxing, texting, and shopping, Filipinos are crazy about beauty pageants. It might be the years of American rule that gave them this love for competitive beauty, but the fact remains a fact: they have won in all the major international pageants 15 times. There were 4 girls crowned Miss Universe, 1 Miss World, 6 title holders of Miss International and 4 Miss Earth crowns. The first official pageant was held within the country in 1908, and since 2001, it's not just about beauty, but also for promotion of environment protection.
Know which season your trip falls on. Being a tropical country, the Philippines only has 2 seasons, wet and dry. Technically, the dry season stretches from around November to May, and the rainy season, from June to October. However, the weather has been changing in recent years, so the beginning and end of either season shifts slightly from year to year. It is also important to know that the country regularly experiences typhoons. So stay current on Philippine weather reports on the weeks approaching your trip. That said, another factor to consider is that the Philippines is an archipelago made up of over 7,000 islands, and the weather from island to island may vary greatly. So while a part of the country might be enduring thunderstorms, it could be bright and sunny in another. Each province is different. The many islands in the Philippines are divided into over 80 different provinces, and it would be the biggest mistake to assume that all these islands were basically the same. Due to geography, Filipinos are historically regionalistic. It wasn't until the 19th century that people began nationalistic movements for a more united Philippines. But still today, the distinctness among provinces manifests in aspects like spoken dialects and food. So when traveling to the Philippines, make an effort to experience as many of its facets as doable, because it's a hugely diverse country that begs to be discovered. The Philippines is a country that provides cheap service, so tipping is common practice. At restaurants, it's customary to leave 10 to 15% of your final bill, unless service charge is included, in which case, less is fine. The 10% rule also works for salons and spas. It's also common to round up a cab fare, giving a 100 peso bill for a 90 peso trip, for example. When in doubt, simply tip according to service satisfaction.